Hello everyone, and welcome to another SpyParty Masters Championship competitive stream. I am Corvus Mallory, and I'm joined by my co-caster Scout.
Hello, hello.
We've got a group stage match today between Legorve Genine and Lev. These two players both have been eliminated from the champions bracket. However, they are still both in contention for third in the group. And third in the group does get an allocation of the prize pool. So both these players absolutely with something to play for. And they're going to be playing a best of 16. We will play out all 16 games. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's just take a look at these players, starting with Legorve. Legorve coming in as the 6th seed, so qualifying for the champions groups directly, with a 2nd place finish in Winter Cup. Has gone 0-2 in groups with a 6-10 finish against Rav and a 7-9 finish against Nebula in what a lot of people have described as like the most punishing, difficult group of death ever assembled in competitive SpyParty. And, from Legorve, of course, Legorve, a huge history in competitive play, lots of big wins. Has been absent a little bit from the game. Some of these matches, maybe a little bit of the rush showing, but still absolutely a force to be reckoned with. No question about that. And Lev is going to have his work cut out for him. Lev fighting his way up through the challengers bracket after qualifying on the back of his 5th place finish in Summer Cup. He won against Garash 9-5 and against Adafayesh 9-4. Has struggled in this group with a 4-12 finish against Rav and a 6-10 finish against Nebula. But that just means that both of these players are 0-2 in groups. So all that somebody has to do to get third is win this match. That's all it comes down to. And, of course, in the case of a draw, an 8-8 finish, it will be Legorve taking the 3rd place slot, as Legorve has won more games against the other players in groups. Now, we will take a look at the draft for this match. We have a ban onto Gallery and onto Pub, restricts onto Aquarium and High Rise, doubled Courtyard, double Modern, then singled Balcony, Aquarium, High Rise, and Redwoods.
I think this is quite a unique set of venues in a group stage match. I don't think we've seen a gallery ban yet at all. I think it's been the most popularly picked map, in fact, so far. So that's interesting from Legorve, as is the single balcony.
Yeah, sometimes you see balcony picks in competitive matches, but very often they're either a double or like the last single, right? Either it's like, I really want to play on balcony because I think I'm good at it, or because I think I'm an underdog and I need high variance, or it's the last one where you say like, well, at the end of the match, like, I'm okay just trying to introduce a little bit more chaos, or I don't really know what else to pick here, so I'll pick balcony. An early balcony single, very unusual. We do see both players picking into their opponent's restrict. We see the Aquarium pick from Lev and the High Rise pick from Legorve. Modern has been very sniper favored so far in SMC. I wouldn't be surprised with these players to see that continue. And then I think that the balcony pick from Legorve is actually very interesting because balcony, of course, a place where players can live or die on the back of their action test rates. And Legorve, not a player known for wanting to play on those kinds of venues. So High Rise, I totally understand. Courtyard, for sure. I think Legorve is comfortable and at home on those sniper arcade formats like Courtyard is. Lev picking Redwoods, not a surprise. Lev picking Aquarium, also not a big surprise. I don't think Lev is too afraid of Aquarium tech from Legorve. But as you said, Scout, not a collection of venues that we've seen that often. We have not seen that much balcony. We've not seen that much Courtyard. Courtyard, I think, maybe tied for the least picked venue.
Well, I'll be interested to see how they play out then.
All right, well, that means that there is just one more thing for us to do before we get into the match. Of course, that will be our predictions. I will, as is tradition, go first. For me, this match is going to come down to how much has Lev been able to ramp up his play and start to play on another level. We've seen Lev post lots of good results, that the 5th place in Winter Cup, in Winter Cup, yes, is so emblematic, I think, of his play, and I think that's the kind of player that we are likely to see turn up. On the other hand, Legorve, of course, I think most people would agree at his peak playing on another tier. Now, Lev has been playing extremely well through the Challengers bracket, but has been struggling in Champions. And I think just on the basis of their Champions stage results, I'm going to have to give this one to Legorve 10-6.
I think I might have leaned towards Lev slightly more before I saw this draft. I think with High Rise and Balcony in there, I think those are designed picks to upset Lev's solid campy playstyle, and I think that's what might tip it in favor of Legorve for me, but I think it's going to be quite close. 9-7, I'm going to say.
All right, well, there are your predictions. That means the only thing left for us to do is check out 16 games of Spy Party. So, Scout, if you're about ready to go, it looks like we'll be starting things off on Courtyard, with Legorve on the spy side playing as General, Lev on the sniper. You ready to get going?
I am.
All right, well then let's get the match started in 3, 2, 1, playing.
General, bit of an interesting pick. I don't know if we're planning to win by bugging here. And Legorve coming straight out of the gate with a 51% flirt, which on SpyParty Courtyard is quite important, really.
These highlights are brutal. I mean, Lev immediately highlighting us and Sick. Salmon joins the party as well. But okay, we've got at least one statue visitor so far. Looks like Irish might be coming to join us. So a quiet start, but Legorve's going to be looking to see if he can pick up that 2 flirt.
I'm a little interested in Lev's highlights. I didn't think he was particularly known for flirt camping or tracking. There's been various statue inspectors that haven't been highlighted at all. It looks like those are entirely memory based, which is a little unusual for a solid campy sniper like Legorve is.
Legorve unhappy with that white flirt, gonna need one more. Looks like we might be trying to timer flirt this on SpyParty Courtyard. That's not easy to do. Legorve will think better of it, and is gonna be heading out to conversation with the double agent, trying to pick up this contact. It's not a great contact though.
It's not great, and especially if we're trying to get people in who have been to statues. It's improving all the time. I think I would be willing to take this now.
Our seduction target comes to us. This is great for Legorve. This contact has turned out to be significantly better. We'll knock out 1. Plenty of people with real. That's our flirt done simultaneously almost. Master leaving a print at statue. Legorve going to be watching that carefully, but I don't think you want to try to finish with prints here against Lev.
I think it's going to be really difficult for Legorve to find a finish here. His highlights since the start of the game. Inspex is just going to look so spy-like at this point. The only other option is maybe try and hit a green purloin.
Yeah, not the kind of thing Legorve, I think, wants to try to finish a game with, but we will be offered a drink. We will go for the purloin. It will be white. There's mission win countdown. Is Lev going to see the list? Indeed he will. There's the shot. And Lev holds down the first game on Courtyard.
Interestingly, Seek, who was highlight with us early on, wasn't shot for going to statues, so maybe that wouldn't have been quite so bad an idea.
Yeah, just these very aggressive highlights from Lev. It's so interesting. We're in conversation, talking to our seduction target, and then just, bam, the highlight comes. Alright, well that is our first game. We will head to our second, and Lev going to be on the spy side now, playing as Plane Twin, and Legorve on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, plane.
Bouncing around a little. Not feeling the need to head immediately for our seduction target, which I immediately find slightly worrying on SpyParty. But if Lev's hard camping flirt for his opponent, maybe he expects to be hard camped in return.
And that is the kind of thing I would expect Legorve to do, be paying careful attention to flirts on Courtyard. It is viable. There are lots of conversations, but here actually they're all pretty full. And Lev is going to take a very respectful flirt, not trying to cram into that spot next to our ST, but instead on the other side of Duke. And we haven't even pulled the trigger on this yet.
Here it comes. It's a white taste, and from this distance, it's
Banana bread.
26%. Here comes a banana bread just afterwards. I think that's 3 low lights from there. Not great, but not the worst you can have on court.
It's not a bad contact, it's just that it knocks out boots and statues is kind of a bummer. Our selection target will leave and not come back, and not having statues either, so Lev with one mission done is going to have to make a move, and here it comes. Will it be statues? No, actually, we're just going to go in for the flirt. And again, a very respectful positioning.
Well, at least we managed to get this up to 57%, so if we can hit a green for our last flirt and shimmy a little closer, we can get it done in 3, but if not, we're looking at a 4 flirt, and with this amount of time on the clock, I can't see that we will be getting that done without a time ad.
Well, here we go into statues. We're not seen yet. Now the rotation comes, so we are seen. We're blocked for this inspect. And I think we're gonna, no, we're gonna go for the second one, and I think we'll just about get it. There it goes.
Disney taking the briefcase saves us from having to do that, but now we still have to finish flirt, and Legorve is upset about something. Legorve is safetying off on the statues, but I think Lev might be a dead spy walking, especially with that conversation entry in Legorve's face.
Yep, and there's the shot. And that is another dead spy and another sniper win.
Continuing though, thus far I think in SMC, perfect sniper party on Courtyard.
Which is a little surprising. I mean, Courtyard 3 of 7, you often think is like one of those more coin flippy, like, oh, you know, someone will go to statues and they'll get shot or something, but that really has not borne out with the way these snipers have been playing. Courtyard 3 of 7 is still a very difficult venue to get spy wins through.
Especially if Float is being watched so hard that it becomes much more difficult of a mission to get done. It's not taken for granted anymore.
Absolutely not. All right, well, that is going to be the first set of Courtyard games down, and now Legorve with a chance to look for a spy win on his double. Going to be happening as Irish, and Lev on the sniper side just looking to hold it down and stay alive. I think if you can get through your opponent's double 2-2, you're going to be feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, I think definitely.
All right, well, let's get the game started in 3, 2, 1, playing.
Legorve going for the other green character now. I'm not sure if anyone so far in SMC has decided to spell words out with their spy or seduction target picks. I feel like at this level people aren't willing to risk any sort of pattern recognition.
Alright, well, Legorve starting things off with a green flirt and run. We're near the double agent, so we could go for a contact, but we decide not to. We don't want to knock out pearls, maybe. We just want to finish this flirt, actually, right away. Come right next to our section target. Oh no, we go for the briefcase. It's a fingerprint briefcase, and we go for the flirt while holding it, and then we walk away. That's very spicy from Legorve, who maybe knows that he was punished for flirting the previous game and does so very sneakily this game instead. That's not a talk you're going to be looking for. That's a print that was absolutely noticed. Unfortunately, it was not a 2 flirt, so we have to go back to this conversation. It will be much further this time, though, and there's the flirt done. Minute 45 on the clock after that very smooth move by Legorve.
That was just beautiful, and I can't imagine we're going to finish fingerprints here unless there's a difficult that cooks for a long time, but taking that print was a beautiful way to distract from the fact that we're flirting.
Minute 20 on the clock. No more movement yet kind of waiting for a chance to get a contact, because I don't think Legorve is anticipating the silent game. Now the question is Legorve bold enough to try to finish Prince after that briefcase?
Well, there is a print on the drink tray now, and Legorve giving himself a little bit of extra time to get missions done with a sneaky watch check at windows while Lev was on the other side of the venue. I can't imagine this has been noticed at all yet.
Alright, so that's desperately needed time, and if we're now looking to try to finish the Prince after so long, that's absolutely not true. Instead we're going to go for a contact. We'll knock out Twin at statues, but pretty decent contact on Courtyard.
They were taking the drink, perhaps hoping there might still be a print. There was a difficult, and unfortunately we miss it. I think maybe if we hadn't been walking at the time, we might hit it. Here we go for another print, and this one.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I mean, Courtyard 3 of 7 proving to be a very difficult venue for spies. And even with that watch check, that is Legorve having to go for a second case, and Lev's just not going to let it happen.
I think if we hadn't been trying to walk at the same time, it might have been a higher chance of hitting that. But either way, trying to hit difficults is difficult, you might say.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. Well, that brings us to our fourth and final game of Courtyard. 3 sniper wins so far. And now Lev on the spy side playing as Teal in 3, 2, 1, playing.
Lev, I think, very happy probably here. Has at least secured a split on Courtyard. And if we can play the spy game right, might even come out with a lead on our opponent's venue.
Yeah, and that would be a huge start to an upset from Lev, as we do hit the white flirt with our seduction target. Ambassador Path's by, we're holding a drink, there's plenty of laser. Not going to go for anything too spectacular here. We want to play this, prudently. Finish our drink, look around. Meanwhile, Legorve not having too much to track except for that flirt, which I'm certain he's looking at.
Yeah, we didn't try at all to mask our flirt so far this game, which I think was wise given our time trouble last time, but it does mean that Legorve is going to be watching us, and I think time of flirting here isn't too bad. It means that we don't have to be coming back to our seduction target another 2 times. Here it comes, the weight test for up to 68%.
So okay, 90 seconds on the clock. We need one more flirt. We're still looking for good contact. We have plenty of statue visitors walking around, but General's going to take a low light for those bounces off of Ambassador. And so it's really just Sorry now at this point, who I think is going to attract any sniper attention. Our seduction target comes back to us, maybe pretty far away. Green is not going to finish this off because we hit a white, so that's 91. And Lev gets stuck on the bush! What is this? Oh no, there's a case. Okay.
I don't know if we were intending to get stuck on the bush, but we've got a case. We've got a case with no print on it. This is entirely innocent and not exactly what we wanted. This is no mission progress. There's now only 50 seconds left, and we still need 2 missions plus finishing off our flirt.
Both twins simultaneously at statues. It feels a little bit like Civ shot bait if you can get somebody in for a contact. Twin goes from statue to conversation. Here comes the real contact. Twin is talking. It's a quick talk conversation. This could provoke a shot. Is it going to happen? It will. And that is going to be Lev pulling ahead on Legorve's double 3-1 on the back of that spy shot.
That was very well played by Lev, I think. Possibly realizing that just the frame game might be powerful.
It's so hard to hold those shots, and we are able to see Twin going into conversation. Can't see that Twin is talking, but I mean, at this level, does it really matter? Can't always assume a white, and that is going to be Lev going into his pick of Modern with the advantage.
Lev trying for that SIP BB and unfortunately not quite hitting it, but it doesn't matter if you're on the other side of the venue from the sniper.
All right, well, Legorve coming back here as Irish on Modern, trying to 3-1 this to bring this back to a draw in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Legorve so far, you know, it's only a sample size of 3, but so far hasn't played anyone who isn't green. As we're going to follow our seduction target all the way out to the far right windows for a 51% flat.
Finish our drink as well to give us more options. Got small minute statues, quite a few book visitors, including the ambassador, who is neutral lit. And we have a time ad. Yeah, let's take those for sure. Plenty of people at windows there, and lots of distraction topic. But we've been highlit, and so has Rocker, who is also at windows. I think Lev is all over this time ad, and Lev, credit to him, playing at a high level at this point. Probably is gonna put a big bind at this. We get the red contact. The arm movement is visible if you're looking for it. Not sure that we are, but Legorve gonna have a very, 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 very hard time finishing this game.
I think at this point where Legorve is the only highlight in this party. Okay, now there's... Oh. Lev's not as on top of this as I thought he might be. Somehow correctly figuring out that the cough was in the front conversation, but not knowing who did it.
Here's the request from Legorve. I think that the time ad highlight onto Legorve has become mental, as now we're using these highlights to track potentially that cough. That's a great bug, though. What a bug.
That was beautiful timing from Legorve, and Ambassador is MVP for entirely covering that up. There is no way Lev has this, and suddenly it's a little bit worrying because he's going to be thinking he's watched Legorve very closely, and his mission count will be off by 1.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that can land you in a lot of trouble. All we need is one more mission, and we have 3 minutes to find it. And so if Lev's going to try to spend those 3 minutes watching us do one more mission, it's going to be hard to know when he wants to pull that trigger.
Unless it's something like a swap frame that Lev is clear on, I think Legorve has a good chance at this.
Legorve doesn't want to let this go down too low, and indeed we don't. We go for a bar purloin to our seduction target, who slams the book. Wait, goes to bookcase, finishes a drink? Okay, it doesn't matter. We find the shot. What just happened? Here's the delegate.
It's the seduction target.
And we go to bookcase to finish our drink.
And that provokes the shot.
Oh, sorry, I'm calling the wrong person. We didn't delegate to our seduction target at all.
Okay, that explains
to this other low light who just went and went to bar. Okay, very good, very good. But
Pearline hadn't come off. I think Lev just decided he was done waiting, which, in fairness, was a very wise decision.
Mm-hmm. I think that's right. That's absolutely correct. All right, well, that brings us to a scoreline of 1-4 in Lev's favor as he enters the spy side of Modern. Not an easy side to play, but let's see how Lev chooses to handle it in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think the interesting thing with Modern is that you really have to know what your game plan is before you start on the path anywhere, because there's nowhere to stop and wait and decide.
Well, Lev is just going to pick up an early delegate. Not much of a bar rush when we got here, but starting to be a couple of folks, which is always nice to see.
Presumably on our way to our seduction target. There we are.
Indeed, we
I can't imagine we're going to use this delegate though. Even if we think we got away with this picking up this delegate unseen. Well, it's going to be the good old delegate to the seduction target, BB to cover, and then split. And I'm slightly worried about Lev.
This doesn't feel like a super high percentage, but the question is Legorve, as we get highlight for going over to pick up that briefcase, a bunch of safety offs, but not on anyone in particular. We pick up the fingerprint. The question is, how much is Legorve going to be watching this purloin? Doesn't matter. The shot comes off. Again, both of these players shooting before the purloin even happens.
What was that... Did we go to the briefcase when Ambassador was still too near? Okay, technically, we started passing towards that briefcase when the Ambassador was still on top of the briefcase. And if Legorve is shooting for that, then fair play to him.
Yeah, that's absolutely wild. But whatever the case, that's a split on the first pair of Modern, and Legorve keeps this set alive, down only one pair at this point.
And one sweep can easily turn the other way, as we have often seen here.
All right, well, let's see what Legorve is able to do as Kane on Modern in 3, 2, 1, playing it. You want to think about maybe having an early flirt? Because we're going to see another one of those, and it's green from Legorve, who is playing his first non-green character of the set.
Maybe he needed the green characters to start with to summon those greens. Either way, Legorve seems to be into his cheese boards because we've had a selection of cheese flats in these first few games.
We pick up the delegate as well, but no cheese at the bar. They only serve drinks, so Legorve takes one of them. And we'll come back for the second flirt, and this one is green again. That's a 2 flirt from Legorve. I think that's the first 2 flirt of the match, perhaps even on game 6, but 3.5 minutes left as we have the delegate in pocket, but time is ticking down on it.
I think we might not have been noticed at bar getting this delegate. We might have even demanded to get past the queue, so we weren't there very long. Saying this could be quite a good idea, really.
Sitting here in this conversation, we do delegate to Sari, who is making her way towards the bar.
Unfortunately, she is an SDA and also quite slow, so there it goes, the timer expires. She's not going to be able to do that for us. And yet, we're still in conversation now, considering how else we're going to get those other 3 missions.
Coming up on 2.5 minutes, and Lev is really going to want to keep the lead here. I don't think there's any question about that. Lev is not going to want to give anything away, going to want to stay ahead. Lev is not going to want to have to play from behind. And Legorve, noting that he doesn't have any green on his character, decides to remedy it by going to green books.
This is excellent. We're obviously setting up to return to blue books where we are camouflaged in. Or not. We're just going to entirely innocently put it back and join our seduction target again, which we've already flirted with.
Bit of a caster's curse there, but will allow it from Legorve, who is in this useless conversation. Ambassador gets bounced around a little bit, heads the other way. The case is here. If we want to try to go for a print with 100 seconds left, looks like that is going to be the plan. So up it goes into our fingers. This will be an easy print. To pick it up, go ahead and return the case. Will we get instantly shot by Lev? Looks like the answer is no, so that's good for Legorve.
I'm not sure if Lev has 10,000 games, so he might not be qualified to take briefcase shots.
Coming up on a minute 15, Legorve does a short conversation, stay out front, and now heads back over. It's got to be statues. Yes, it will be statues.
Unless there's a fingerprintable statue that we can finish, inspect, print, and swap, I'm not quite sure how we're going to finish up this selection of missions.
Well, there it is. There's the bug.
There's an entirely unseen bug, I think. No reaction from Lev, either way.
Yeah, Lev absolutely knows that he does not have to shoot yet, but now is probably getting a little more nervous as that happens, and we pick up a briefcase and we fingerprint it, and down goes the briefcase, and we're in mission win countdown. No shot's gonna be coming off. Safety off, but safety off, not a shot. Legorve walks right past the laser and into the first spy win of his in this set.
Lev must be kicking himself for that one, to actually safety off on the spy in countdown. and just not quite take that shot.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, there must have been some suspicion for this bug, but it looks pretty good. I mean, it's hard to see. And even if you credit it here and you credit the Prince, I mean, you have to make that decision to shoot very quickly. Lev not able to do it. And Legorve within one modern sniper game of bringing this set back to a draw.
Well, Legorve only has to snipe Lev in order to do so, which on Modern is, I think, pretty good chances of doing so.
Alright, well, Lev on the spy side playing as gloves, Legorve on the sniper side in 3, 2, 1, playing.
Heading straight into books, it looks like. Or not. We can meet our... No, we tried to meet our seduction target at this conversation. It didn't quite work out. They're busy inspecting statues, but we're in here in this conversation. We can wait.
These players really have not been leaning into statues. We saw, I think, one on Courtyard. We saw a partial statue visit so far on Modern.
We just saw a red flirt from Lev. Our seduction target came to say hi, and we decided to reward them by red flirting them.
Yeah, not what you love to see, especially not a Modern, where it'll send them clear across the map into a very crowded front conversation. So we'll finish off our drink. Ambassador's nearby. We could be contemplating some kind of reverse drive-by, depending on exactly what happens. Lev keeping a very close eye on the Ambassador, looking for that path. We could also be thinking about a double walking bug. What's it gonna be as the Ambassador leaves? Lev holding the camera, waiting for the Ambassador to go somewhere. There's the book return. We are going to take it. And, oh, you can see Legorve is looking for it, but I don't think was able to see it. Distracted by the highlight movement onto Boots.
I mean, it's A, very unfortunate that it didn't manage to stick. And I think Legorve is going to have some suspicion for that very spy-like setup and path, even if he didn't see that bug.
It's absolutely just such a spy thing to do, to leave that conversation in the same direction as the Ambassador at the same time. You just can't do it in a way that doesn't provoke suspicion. Really sad for Lev that it didn't result in bug credit, in credit for completing the mission. And now we have actually 0 mission progress, and we're standing across conversations circle from our ST.
Well, looks like we're going to...
Oh.
Okay, at this point it has to be intentional, right?
It has to be intentional. No question about it. I mean, there's just no reason to do that for a second time. The question is, what are you trying to get now? Salmon was at statues early in the game. That's what earned him the highlight in the first place. So if Lev is just saying, like, look, I'm really far behind. The frame game has worked out for me already. Let me try it again. Let me just push my ST around and create some chaos and see what happens. And hey, Salmon goes to bar and picks up a drink. If we can get some kind of delegate set up, and look at this! Oh no, he doesn't come in the conversation circle. But if we can get some kind of delegate set up from Lev, I mean, that's absolutely an option.
I think, yes, at this point our only hope is to make sure some high suspicion people are in conversation for banana bread. As Boots dies.
Boots dies, okay.
Well, the frame game worked out for Lev.
I'm curious if
I
this
think
is
he
just
was
some kind of
shooting for
statement
a
shot.
last flirt with Rocker.
Oh, wow. Yeah, must be.
You know, Boots does that very suspicious, just shuffle along windows to get that last flirt done, and obviously has enough suspicion from earlier on in the game to had finished inspects. One print seems like a decent kind of shot. Not correct, but she'd definitely been doing missions.
All right, well, that is Lev leading at halftime 5-3. And only needs 4 more points to place third in groups. And Legorve needs a draw to equal that result. Now, we're going on to Legorve's pick of Balcony. So, of course, anything can happen here. And Legorve's going to start off on the spy side, playing as Boots. Perhaps a little bit of an apology for that shot. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I feel like Legorve is probably very happy that he picked balcony at this point in the set, as we're still under AI control. You know, there's 2 options on balcony. You either hit greens or you AI control and wait for someone else to die. And it looks like Legorve has opted for the latter. As unfortunately... Oh, please, Boots. Obviously, Boots is just intent on getting shot this match.
It would appear so. We do take control and pull off a white flirt next to our seduction target, so that's 1. Speaking of 1, there's 1 more highlight. Sorry, highlight standing next to the double agent and next to us. Minute 10 on the clock. Very difficult for Legorve to actually mission win this game without a bug.
This is just so tragic. You know, starting our flirt after we were highlight. Unless we can get some kind of entirely unseen bug. I mean, I presume the highlight was for bug credit, so we could at least get that bug in pocket, but either way, I think we're just going to have to contact at some point, and then we might well be the shot. At least Sari is doing something good for us and taking her second flirt.
A little bit of laser shake coming off from Lev. 26 seconds on the clock. Legorve's definitely going to pull the contact when we get to the end of this clock. There's just no reason not to.
And the end of red.
Oh no! Sari splits!
No.
That is the most brutal game of balcony I think I've ever witnessed.
Yes.
If Sari doesn't split out of that conversation for the banana bread, I think she probably takes that bullet there.
And the end of red.
Absolutely brutal. There's where we trigger the banana bread. Right as Sari leaves.
Oh.
All right. Well, that is Lev. Up 6-3.
I'll take back that statement from earlier about Legorve perhaps being happy to arrive at balcony at this point in the set.
You can arrive happy, but exactly how you leave is another matter. Lev on the spy side playing as Pearls in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Arriving right next to
And we
Ambassador.
have a green Purloin pending.
Oh no, we're playing Purloin balcony?
Indeed we are. And of course, it's only going to have 2 suspects. It's quickly seen. Yeah, Legorve not going to let that one by. Legorve keeps it under control, sees that Purloin. It's a nice early Purloin. I love the idea. Just very unfortunate that the take is immediate and very visibly green.
Yes, well, at least Legorve was aware that it was Purloin balcony.
Yep, not going to let that one by. The take is very visible, and so Legorve holds it down on balcony, keeps the set alive as we head into Lev's pick of Aquarium.
All right.
All right, let's see what happens. We have 4 minutes on the clock in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Are we sure we wanted Boots as seduction target after how this has gone?
I mean,
Either.
if she gets shot, it's fine with us.
Well, we have a very respectful 41% green flirt to start off. Legorve seems to be having a significantly higher green rate than he's had previously, especially on these flirts.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. We've seen quite a few green flirts out of Legorve, which of course you love to see. I'm very curious how Legorve is going to play Aquarium, given that it was his restrict. You know, it's not the venue I would have expected to see Legorve being particularly uncomfortable on, so I'm not sure sure exactly what it is that he was thinking. Maybe something about just I want to play with Lev. But after a 68% flirt, we're going to head into bar.
I'm going to first request a drink and then immediately pick up the briefcase. Unfortunately, we missed this print.
Yeah, but we delegate cheese with a briefcase in hand. So if you didn't know you could do that, apparently you can.
Okay. Alright. Okay, hats off. Oh no, we're Hyla.
We are Hyla, and we're going to red flare our seduction target to the briefcase.
And the end of
apparently
red.
that's also a thing that happens. There's the contact. Have we delegated? I actually can't read the timeline this quickly. But we have...
No delegate, I don't think.
Okay.
But surely that has to happen soon.
You'd think you'd want to take advantage of this very cheesy Purloin setup that you had. As 2 minutes 10 comes up on the clock.
Oh no, there it goes. Smallman takes the list, and Lev is somehow all over this cheese delegate.
You know, it may just be like we went to bar, and that was enough to give us delegate credit without really caring about whether like we actually like had a case or took the drink or whatever. Like, not gonna bother keeping track of all that. Just gonna say, oh well, you went to bar. You could have delegated. And indeed we do. Indeed we purloin. And indeed Lev finds the shot. And that's a huge shot. That picks Lev up to 7.
Well, Legorve is going to have to do his best to snipe the aquarium next, which I think is entirely doable. And still has a few more games to catch up to Lev.
All right, well, Lev on the spy side playing as Rocker, looking to draw the set in 3, 2, 1, playing it. All right, so if you're Lev here, I mean, you have to be outperforming your expectations at this point, right?
Yes, and I think the thing for Lev will be to not just clam up when he gets close to match point.
We go for this bug, and we've been low lit for it.
I guess normal spies don't take that path. Normal spies don't redirect around the other side of the ambassador, so that's entirely a reasonable light in my book.
Yeah, and the bug is not super visible either, so, I mean, Lev, on the back of that one bug into that one low light, could just be looking at 8 points.
Well, we had the Queen Flirt as well. We're merely no talking in this conversation, but that's fine. You know, 2 of the members are low lights. If we can hit 2 greens and then just finish on soft tails, we'll be in great form. Unfortunately, Twin's going to say no to that idea in time of flirting.
I would love to see Lev just, like, go inspect statues. Like, if you've gotten away with that bug, which you have to assume that you have, or else you're extremely dead because you had a really weird path, then, like, just go inspect.
Looks like we're trying to line up some kind of contact. Here it finally comes. It's not as bad as it could be. 5 lilacs.
I feel like this is all just, like, it's very cute. And to be clear, I'm certain it's going to work. But, like, do we need to banana split out of a conversation to join our ST at books? Or can we just play, like, a game of SpyParty? 2 minutes on the clock, and Lev has to be very confident at this point. We're hard chasing our ST across the front of the venue.
I'm not sure. He's playing this a mix of cheesy plays to try and get past a sniper, but also, you know...
And we swap behind Shark! And now we're Shark
walking!
Oh
no! Oh no! It's... Oh no! I think this is my Legorve banned aquarium.
It's totally fine. And on the back of all of that extremely high effort play, Lev is going to bring the set to 8-4.
Well, I think Lev there just massively overestimated just how suspicious he was, and you know, if that wasn't a shark walk, playing like that could have been the only way you could really die as a low light, and yeah, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, and I mean, look, to be fair, you know, okay, you don't know that you're low lit, and to be fair, like, clearly Lev has a lot of trust in his mechanical execution, and so if you have that trust, I mean, hey, you take it and you win. No arguments from me. Like, it's hard to argue with the scoreboard at this point, and Legorve has a lot of work to do on that scoreboard, because Legorve needs to sweep these last 4 games in a row to take third in groups and take that slice of the prize pool. Lev, 1 game away from clinching that spot, and Legorve now on high rise, which was Lev's restrict as small man, in 3, 2, 1, plane.
Perhaps it's not quite the most ideal venue for it, but
We've missed
I
the
think
pad.
it's fine. It's fine. It's just Smallman. You can't tell which way he's looking. If you're going to have a time to bring out the emergency Smallman, I think match point is the time to do it. Unfortunately, we went to join our seduction target just as our seduction target decided he was going to go out to windows where we were just before.
We have inspects and transfer off. Inspects off, one of these kind of sidelines that we sometimes see players play. And, I mean, it certainly can work out. It forces some rotations. It forces kind of the most memory management, I think, from the sniper. You can't just rely on, like, okay, I'm going to do inspect highlights and that's how I'm going to deal with that one mission. Because you can't really do that for something like Prince. You can't really do that for something like Swap. You can't really do that for something like Purloin, so maybe a little bit more mental load. On the flip side, you have to actually do a hard tell you would otherwise have to do. Meanwhile, we go for this very speculative bug. It's not going to work out, but it's also not going to be seen.
And we've got this 50% flirt in pocket. I think, given the much longer timer of high rise, the slower start is absolutely fine. The action test red on the contact, which isn't even going to be real because the double agent splits, is going to be a little bit loose.
Yeah, we have a red contact. It's particularly on screen, but it doesn't matter.
It's fine! Last thing, someone else was coughed, and, you know, red test BB equals win.
Lev is going to be feeling really gross about that. I mean, yes, you still have 3 match points, but 3 match points can evaporate very quickly when 2 of them are on the spy side against Legorve Genine. And, you know, bad luck for Lev that this red contact, Smallman just has so much cover here. Okay, never mind. Smallman doesn't have that much cover.
And the end of red.
Not seen anyways.
Well, I think Legorve will definitely take this.
I think it's that Lev thinks that he saw everyone except Alice and thinks that none of them coughed and just missed the animation from Smallman, and therefore decides, well, that's the only person I didn't see cough, that I couldn't see. And unfortunately, just didn't see that Smallman was the cougher, and that means that the set goes on.
Well, Legorve having a chance to snipe Lev here.
Yep, and Lev going to be playing back one of these green characters, see if that works out for him. In 3, 2, 1, plane.
Not quite making the most of the car crash that spawned around Amber. Heading straight to windows to flirt with our seduction target. I think even though we've gotten away with this before, on high rise, Legorve might well be camping flirt a lot more solidly.
3 minutes now on the clock. Inspects are back on. Fingerprint and microfilm both off. And I think you're right. I think Legorve is going to be paying a lot of attention to flirt pairs here. Just going to be aware of who's talking, who they're standing next to. I really think that is what he's going to be looking for. But Lev is not really given much to work with. So far, just 1 green flirt, and I believe not in conversation.
This contact also isn't great. slightly bumpy path against Amber, which I think we might have been given bug credit for as we head in to try and finish off this flirt. Unfortunately, we can't hit the green, so that is 85%. At least we don't need to be at all close to our seduction target to finish this out now, but 2 minutes with some bug credit to finish some missions here.
Yeah, this is not ideal for Lev, who does have a drink in hand. We're next to our seduction target, so I think Lev's going to try to timer flirt this out. Nope, never mind, seduction target will leave. We take a sip. We could leave on this sip, but no, Lev's going to stay. And again, both of these players really not favoring inspects. Even in Aquarium, where we saw Lev go to a statue and do a swap instead. Inspects are on, but I have a hard time at this point imagining that we're going to do them.
There's the actual bug, and there's the shot.
Yeah, you know, this bug, it's just so spy-like to try this, and I feel like the arm extension here is visible enough. You can kind of see what's happening. You can see the hand opening up there. And Legorve's going to take the shot on that, no problem. And Legorve has swept high rise and has brought the set back 6-8.
As we come into our final venue, and this could still go very much either way, I think.
Yeah, remember, Legorve just needs a draw to come out of this third in groups, as he did win more games against Rav and Nebula than Lev did. So Lev needs to win one of these games. Legorve needs to win both, but that would be enough to tip the scales. So Legorve going to be trying to do it as Cowboy, and Lev on the sniper side in 3, 2, 1, playing it. So what do you do when it's all on the line for a spy win on Redwoods? Besides pick small.
Personally, I would have picked anyone but Tex. But you know, let's see how this works out. We can't go and flirt with our seduction target, and I think people often forget on Redwoods just how short this timer is. So I'm going to be a little bit interested in what our game plan is.
We're heading in to occupied statue pad to get this green flirt again from Legorve, and then from that straight into this briefcase.
I think we might have gotten away with that flirt cheese at books. We didn't get any kind of inspects, so again, no interest in completing inspects, but we have a print. It's probably noticed a little bit, but if we can get a reasonably subtle second print, we should be okay as we head in and pick up this delegate.
2 minutes 20 on the clock, and we are headed back inside. I don't imagine we'll stay inside long. There's nothing for us to do. So it's right out into this empty conversation circle.
Empty, barring the double agent, which now all conversations are full bar the boots. This could be quite a nice contact, as indeed Legorve takes it.
No delegate yet at this point. Ambassador comes to us. There's the bug! And I don't think that could possibly have been seen.
That was entirely behind a tree, as it turned out.
Excuse me, the delegate has come off and the list has been purloined. So 2 hardtails done in the space of 20 seconds there. And all Legorve needs is 1 more print or 1 more green flirt, and we have lots of time. Doesn't matter.
It turns out we don't need it. Sari dies for that purloin, presumably. And Legorve is within 1 game of taking the set now.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to 1 last game. Not the finish I think that Lev was looking for when he was up 8-4. But now it's all on the back of this spy game on Redwoods with Lev playing as Queen and Legorve on the sniper side. Final game of this set in 3, 2, 1, playing. And
I think it's not very...
How could it not come down to the final game?
I think this might be the only time when it's one game that wins for either player. You know, it's normally either someone coming for a draw or trying to get a win. But you know, in this case, a draw or a win for either player means a win.
Yeah, it's the power of tiebreaks, and so it's all going to come down to this. And Lev's going to have to do it on the spy side. I mean, usually when you're in these match-deciding, like money-deciding matches, it's a kind of win-by-2 situation and it's balanced. And Lev kind of feeling like, hey, why does it come down to a best-of-1 where I'm on the spy against Legorve Genine? I mean, that's not what you want, but...
We especially don't want it when somehow we've lost the first 30 seconds with no mission progress whatsoever. We're in conversation with the double agent, but this would be an almost suicidal contact to take. And we need to get moving and doing something.
We have to create some chaos here. I mean, like, go take the list. Something. We will go to bar. I don't think Lev is going to be direct purloining here with the place on the line, so it's just a delegate. But there's not a lot of cover for this at the moment. We're absolutely on screen. And so Lev now down to 2 minutes with 1 print to show for all of his troubles and travails.
I mean, print helps. I think a time ad would help even more. A seduction target has been religiously trying not to be anywhere that we could flirt with him. I think his finished inspects at this point. But there we go. Lev coming in to do inspects only so
it's
that
a
we
red
can do...
flirt.
Oh dear.
It's a red flirt at books.
And we're not
Lev
even
just can't
taking
get
the
anything
inspects.
going.
Why don't we even take the inspects? Please, Lev.
70 seconds left in both of these players' SpyParty Masters Championship tournament.
And the red.
Here's a fake contact. It's pretty good. Who's it going to get shot is the question. And the answer is nobody's going to get shot. And so Lev now with 55 seconds, everything in this tournament on the line to try to get a spy win past Legorve Genine on Redwoods. We must be playing to transfer this book, but is that going to be enough? Will we have enough time? We're going in for a real contact now. Our seduction target's also here, but what's the point of flirting? There's none. And it's another red.
I think at this point we're just trying to push people around, but if they're not going to do missions, they're not going to get shot. We needed a time ad a minute ago, but what are we going to do now?
Well, we're going to transfer this book, I assume. No, we're not. We're going to put it back innocently. And Lev is just committing to the random civ shot. There's nothing else we can do here. Lev has put this game into the hands of Legorve Genine, and the shot comes off onto Lev!
I'm sorry, what? How?
And Legorve has drawn the set, earned himself 3rd in groups, and a slice of the SpyParty Masters Championship prize pool with a shot onto Lev for not transferring this book.
Lev literally did nothing this game other than pick up 1 fingerprint.
Yeah, just the return, just... You know,
what a way to take the set.
What a way to take the set. And that means that Legorve Genine comes 3rd in groups in what is typically described as the most powerful, most difficult group ever assembled in competitive SpyParty. And Lev, after fighting his way up through the challenger bracket, does come 4th in groups, but put up a heck of a fight.
I think this was possibly one of the more exciting groups matches. The amount of tech that happened. And what a comeback from Legorve.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming back from 8-4, coming back from, 4-1, and drawing the set up. Of course, great games to both of these players. Really just such a pleasure to have them in SMC.
I think very much so, and I hope we might see some of these players back next year for SMC.
All right, well, that is our cast. Of course, thanks to both players for the games, and of course, thanks to all the players who played in SMC, all the people who have watched, participated, played in the side events, played in the synthetic dailies, and of course, Scout, thank you for casting with me.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, well, that is it for us tonight. We will be back in, what is that? Maybe like 18 hours or so? It'll say on the next slide for your bronze match between Nebula and Rav. And we will, of course, be back on the following day for the grand finals between Opie Wrights and Mean York. So we'll catch you then, but until next time,